In 2023, the quiet ranching community of Summit County, Utah, was shaken by the discovery of 13 lifeless cows, each lying in a familiar pasture where cattle have grazed peacefully for years. What made this particular incident so unsettling was not just the number of cows, but the fact that all of them were pregnant. Bailey Wolstenhume, a representative from the Utah Department of Agriculture, commented on the unusual nature of the incident, noting that it was rare for such a large number of pregnant cows to perish suddenly in a field that has supported livestock for generations. The incident has left both farmers and officials bewildered, as the investigation launched to uncover the cause yielded inconclusive results. Adding to the mystery, for decades, farmers in the US and beyond have reported similar instances where cows were found lifeless under strange circumstances, often with body parts removed with a degree of precision that defies explanation. The investigation into the 13 cows in Summit County began shortly after the lifeless animals were discovered by their owner, who found them scattered across a well-established pasture. Veterinarians and officials from the Utah Department of Agriculture were quick to respond, conducting thorough examinations to determine if disease, poisoning, or environmental factors could be responsible. However, initial tests for toxins, bacterial infections, and other common threats to livestock returned inconclusive results. While occasional livestock expirations are not uncommon in ranching, the circumstances surrounding these particular cases puzzled the experts. The fact that all 13 cows were pregnant raised questions about whether there could have been a targeted attempt to disrupt the farmer's breeding program, or if an unusual environmental factor might have disproportionately affected pregnant cattle. Other researchers that have looked into these types of cases have noted that the pasture had successfully sustained cattle for many years, making it unlikely that the cow's environment was suddenly to blame. Investigators even tested the surrounding soil and water sources for potential contaminants, but nothing out of the ordinary was found. As the investigation continued, officials became increasingly perplexed. With no signs of trauma, disease, or environmental cause, the passings remained unexplained. Investigators could not determine whether the cows had died suddenly or if their demise was the result of some slow, undetectable process. With no evidence pointing in any specific direction, the case of the 13 cows has remained open, sparking a wave of theories and speculation among locals and agricultural experts alike. The unexplained expirations of the 13 cows in Summit County bears an eerie resemblance to other mysterious cattle passings that have been reported for decades, particularly across the United States. Since the 1970s, farmers and ranchers have periodically discovered cattle lifeless in their fields under similarly strange circumstances, with no obvious cause of what happened, and often missing body parts. These cases, commonly referred to as cattle expirations, have been documented in multiple states and remain one of the enduring mysteries of modern ranching. In these earlier cases, cattle were often found with precise cuts, with organs such as eyes, tongues, and reproductive organs missing. What puzzled investigators was the level of precision with which these body parts had been removed, suggesting the use of advanced surgical techniques or tools not commonly accessible in rural areas. Even more unsettling was that there was rarely any blood at the scene, nor any evidence of struggle or predation by wild animals. While some of these cases were attributed to natural predation or vandalism, a significant number remained unexplained. Many of the cuts found on the cattle appeared too clean for typical animal attacks, and there was no sign of struggle or chase, a fact that led to rampant speculation over whether an unknown party, equipped with specialized tools, was involved. The similarities between the Summit County expirations and these earlier unsolved cases of cattle cases have left some wondering if they are witnessing the resurgence of an old and disturbing phenomenon. The inconclusive results of the Summit County investigation have spurred a range of theories about what might have caused the cows to pass away. While officials have not ruled out natural causes, the lack of any concrete evidence has led to speculation among locals and researchers alike. One popular theory is that the expirations could have been caused by some type of poisoning, possibly from a plant, fungus, or environmental toxin. However, tests for known toxins have not yielded any conclusive results, and officials have found no evidence to suggest that any unfamiliar plants or contaminants were present in the pasture. Some locals and ranching experts suspect that human intervention could be a factor, suggesting the possibility of sabotage or even ritualistic activity, given the history of precise expirations found in previous cases. However, this theory remains unproven, as there was no evidence of human presence or activity around the cattle when they were found. Additionally, the remote location and the lack of accessible tools capable of such precision make this theory difficult to substantiate. Other, more speculative theories have emerged, fueled by the mysterious nature of cattle passings across the decades. Some believe that the passings could be the result of some type of experimental research or testing carried out by an unknown organization or government entity. Proponents of this theory argue that the surgical precision observed in past cases suggests the use of advanced technology, which could point to secretive research operations. However, without evidence, this theory remains purely speculative. Perhaps the most controversial theory is that of extraterrestrial involvement. This idea gained popularity during the 1970s wave of cattle explorations, as the clean cuts, missing organs, and absence of blood led some to believe that the cases were beyond human explanation. While this theory has generally been dismissed by officials and the scientific community, it persists in popular culture as one possible explanation for the repeated pattern of mysterious cattle passings. The investigation into the 13 cows in Summit County has left officials, ranchers, and residents with more questions than answers. The inconclusive results have been a source of frustration for the Utah Department of Agriculture, which hoped to provide a clear explanation for the expirations and to prevent future incidents. With no leads, the incident remains shrouded in mystery, much like the unexplained cattle expirations of previous decades. For the ranching community, the lack of answers is unsettling. The unexplained expirations represent a potential threat not only to livestock, but also to the livelihoods of those who depend on agriculture. Until the mystery is resolved, farmers in Summit County and beyond are left with little reassurance, wondering whether this incident is an isolated case or the beginning of a troubling pattern. The case of the 13 cows underscores the challenges faced by investigators in solving such mysteries. With no clear answers and a range of possible explanations, the incident will likely remain one of the many unsolved agricultural mysteries that have occurred over the years. For now, officials and farmers alike can only hope that the strange passings in Summit County are a rare anomaly, rather than a sign of something more widespread and sinister. Over the years, farmers across rural America have reported seeing mysterious lights hovering above their pastures late at night, only to discover their cattle lifeless the next morning, sometimes with parts of their bodies removed with surgical precision. These eerie sightings have been particularly unsettling for ranchers who, after generations of tending to livestock, know that such passings are far from normal. The lights, described as orb-like or sometimes triangular, appear suddenly, often casting an unnatural glow across the fields before vanishing without a sound. By dawn, farmers find the grim aftermath: cows lying motionless, often missing specific organs or sections of flesh removed as if by a precise, almost clinical instrument. These strange occurrences have become a part of rural lore, whispered about among communities, but also noted with genuine concern. Ranchers are no strangers to predators, diseases, or other natural causes of livestock expirations, yet they insist that these incidents are unlike anything they have ever encountered. The lights in the sky seem to correlate directly with the expirations, as they have been witnessed in conjunction with several such discoveries. Even more unusual is that these cattle, found lifeless without signs of struggle or predation, often have organs like the eyes, tongues, and reproductive organs removed, with cuts so clean that they resemble the work of a surgeon rather than an animal. Accounts of these strange lights have come from farmers in various regions, though some hotspots, including Summit County, Utah, have seen an uptick in reports. Ranchers describe the lights as moving silently over their pastures, often at a low altitude. Some describe them as white or bluish orbs that hover, pulse, or drift slowly, while others report larger, triangular-shaped objects with distinct lights at each corner. These lights appear mostly on clear nights, sometimes illuminating sections of fields and remaining visible for only a few minutes before disappearing completely. In cases where farmers have rushed outside to get a better look, the lights often vanish before they can approach. Some ranchers have attempted to capture the phenomena on video, but many report interference with their devices when the lights are near, with batteries inexplicably draining or footage turning up corrupted. It's as if the lights have an almost preternatural ability to avoid detection. Over the years, a pattern has emerged. The sightings are often followed by the same unsettling scene in the morning. Cows are found with parts of their bodies removed, such as the eyes, reproductive organs, and sections of the jaw or tongue. The cuts are uniformly smooth, as if made with high-precision instruments rather than by teeth or claws, and there is rarely any blood on the ground, another factor that defies explanation. To many ranchers, this precision feels ominous, suggesting that the cattle's last moments were not a random occurrence, but rather part of a planned and deliberate act. While these lights and the accompanying discoveries are disturbing enough, the mystery deepens when considering the possible causes. Some experts have suggested that the lights could be advanced drones, operated by unknown parties who may be conducting experiments or using the cattle as subjects for study. However, this theory fails to explain the lack of blood or the surgical precision of the cuts. Drones, while capable of surveillance, do not possess the tools needed to make such clean incisions on living organisms, nor can they extract specific organs without leaving behind some evidence of trauma or struggle. Another theory points to natural explanations, suggesting that the lights could be the result of rare atmospheric phenomena like ball lightning. However, the consistency of the sightings, the hovering patterns, and the specific aftermath involving cattle deaths challenge this theory. Ball lightning, while mysterious, does not display the same consistent patterns of hovering and disappearing over a specific area and is rarely reported in conjunction with animal expirations or surgical-like incisions. The most speculative and controversial theory is that the lights and passings could be the result of extraterrestrial activity. This idea has persisted since the 1970s, fueled by reports of cattle findings across the United States and beyond. Advocates of this theory suggest that these lights are not just ordinary drones or aircraft, but advanced vehicles from an unknown intelligence conducting biological research or collecting genetic materials for reasons unknown. Proponents point to the precise manner of the expirations, the lack of blood, and the avoidance of detection as evidence of technology beyond current human capabilities. For farmers, the unexplained passings of their livestock are more than just a bizarre mystery. They represent a real financial and emotional burden. Livestock is a significant investment, and the loss of even one cow, particularly one that is pregnant, affects a rancher's livelihood. The discovery of 13 pregnant cows, as in Summit County, is devastating. Yet, the inability to find answers adds to the frustration. Farmers are left feeling vulnerable and helpless, knowing that the very land they rely on may hold dangers they do not understand or control. These unexplained phenomena also come with a social stigma. For decades, ranchers have reported these incidents to authorities, yet the lack of clear explanations has led to skepticism. Some dismiss the reports as hoaxes, while others believe that the farmers themselves are misinterpreting or exaggerating what they see. This dismissal leaves farmers in a difficult position as they feel compelled to stay silent to avoid ridicule, even as the mystery and financial losses continue to mount. The cumulative impact of these incidents has led to calls for more in-depth investigations. Some farmers have reached out to independent researchers and paranormal investigators, seeking alternative explanations and possible surveillance of their land. In certain regions, local governments have been pressed to set up monitoring systems, hoping to catch these lights on camera or detect evidence that could reveal their origin. Despite numerous investigations over the years, the lights above cattle pastures and the strange, surgically precise cases remain unsolved. Scientists, veterinarians, and government officials have found no concrete answers, only theories. As of now, the incidents continue to occur sporadically, leaving farmers and researchers on high alert, yet with little resolution. Every new sighting or passing rekindles the mystery, adding to the growing body of eerie accounts. The unanswered questions linger, casting a shadow over rural communities. Is there a hidden organization conducting clandestine experiments on livestock? Are these lights and expirations the work of advanced technology, either human or extraterrestrial? Or are we witnessing a natural phenomenon that modern science is yet to comprehend?